Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and another video on Marvel Contest of Champions. My name is Rich and this is my channel called RichTheMan. If you did want to subscribe and follow for more Marvel Contest of Champions as well as other gaming content, then hit that subscribe button. But in today's video, as you can see by the thumbnail and title, we're focused on the Danger Rooms. And the question we're largely going to ask is, have they been a triumphant success that the community have gone, hey, this has been a great addition? Or have they been as exciting as a mouldy old piece of bread? Yes, as you can see by this visual aid, I do indeed have visual aids. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha. Mild humour aside, let's focus on the core subject of the video. Danger Rooms have different types of difficulty, all building up to one big event once a week. You collect these kind of badges or tokens and that allows you to then get into more fun content. We can get better prizes for rerunning certain difficulties. So it is a big incentive to then do things on the daily. Danger Rooms and the Uncanny Danger Room have a very kind of stay in your own lane of difficulty mentality. Now, what the hell do I mean by that? Well, what in a nutshell mean is that depending on where you are in the game, whether or not you're an endgame player, you've been playing for 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, or just started, you will have accumulated a certain amount of champions. Now, trying to get the amount of champions you require to get into these things, because sometimes they're very specific and specific to certain storages, it's going to mean that if you've just picked up 1 or 2 science champions and you require to use science champions in this particular event, so you can only use 2 of your 2-star science champions, then you in a nutshell are buggered. Yeah, you're buggered. Because you will need a lot more in order to get you through, which then says that, hey, I can only stay in the beginner section, or I can try and get a little bit further, but man, I'm just a complete cop-out. Granted, as soon as you continue on in the game, if you could say, right, I'm here now, I've got every single science champion at 3-star, then you may be absolutely fine. The same thing is for villains. If you've got every single villain at 3-star, at 2-star, then you're probably going to be fine. But it's newer people starting to the game. If you go back in time to last month when we had the cinematic event, the Gwenpool Goes to the Movies, it felt like everybody could go into this event and feel they were getting the same out of it. Some people may have struggled a little bit with that, but they got through it and got some amazing stuff. This month is completely different, and it does feel that there is a very kind of class-based system. And I'm not talking class in-game, I'm talking like a class-based system as we have in society, where you've got your working class, you've got your middle class, you've got your upper middle class, you've got upper class, whatever, that kind of class system. So where you are in the game is basically your class, your tier, your metaphorical tier. That if you have a lot of champions, you will be absolutely fine. And absolutely fine if you have 2-star and 3-stars in great abundance in different types of science, different class in game. So let's take this one for example. This was a fairly recent one where we see Sentinel as the boss, and then we see that we could only use mutant champions. This was one of the most frustrating ones in a long time, but there was back along a real kind of mark about Taskmaster. I actually think he's back now in this particular day that I'm recording this video, and it did reach a lot of frustrations with the player base, especially those that maybe didn't have the certain champions. And we could say at the time, and I think it was, we were taking science against the class disadvantage, which was skill, and Taskmaster being the final one. I myself used Hulk for this and kind of spammed the stun and did the perma stun, and it may be those things that you're going to have to pick up on little tips and tricks to kind of go, right, well, I can do that. Maybe I do something with Quake, change it up a little bit. But if you don't have those champions at that particular starage rating, then this is the point that I'm getting to. It's not going to be for everybody. So therefore it comes to this forum post, which you just saw a moment ago, and we're going to put up again. Just stop playing Danger Rooms. This particular person here, What Happened, makes a very good point, saying that on the main account it's absolutely fine. It's got the champions, great. But on his second account, he's trying to focus on the 4-stars being ranked up, and a lot of the stuff is then resource wise can't be put onto the 2-stars, which then makes it a little bit of a bad experience for anybody that may be newer to the game. Lots of people commented on the positive side of things, and the energy spend is a little bit frustrating, but the fact that you get to use your 2 stars and 3 stars, which you haven't been able to use in a long time, is a good reason. Though I must point out, this was said back in the beginning when it was announced. Kabam Mike said that he'd been asked so many times, what should I do with my 2s and 3 stars? And he said that people have been asking about, and I've not seen anything ever in the forum saying that particular statement, but I could be wrong. I've even picked on the fact that we have had the 2-star crystal for each individual class going in the special section of the crystals in Marvel Contest of Champions, saying that this may be a way that Kabam are trying to get people to spend their units in game by trying to increase their 2-star rosters. So all of this talk, all of this conversation, all of this discussion, which ranged in different feedbacks from players of different types of experience, going, this is, it's good, this is bad. We've got players that are going, right, well, this is a bit money grabbing, we're having to spend on revives and things. There's a big drive that they want to get into the epic side of stuff, but they can't. All reaches to this point here, and this response by Kabam Mike initially says that creating this type of game mode is to create something for different experiences in the game, whether or not you are skilled or not. He then goes on to talk about champion requirements, and this is something that is very important. So if you are one of those players, those end game players that has deleted or sold even your 2 stars and 3 stars, and let's be fair, people have done that, and I suspect there's not going to be many people that own up to that. I've not done it in a while. I've sold a 4-star once, and that was it. Other than that, I would not sell my 2 stars or my 3 stars, just because some stuff like this happens. But the main point to really raise from this is not everybody is going to have 2 stars and 3 stars in great abundance in certain types of classes or villain types, hero types, that they're going to be able to smash through this event easily. Whether or not you talk about the idea of this being about experience and about skill, they're going to be people that just want to play the game for fun. And yes, there's that challenging aspect of it, but also the people that are really kind of like the best and hardcore players that can do anything, and props to you. There's going to be players that like to play this game for fun. There's going to be younger people that want to take up this game for fun, and maybe don't want to be so involved with the skill aspect. But I guess that's that balance that Kabam some months have to create something like this that's a bit more difficult and challenging, and in other months create something that's a little bit more easier, like for example last month's Gwenpool event. And following on that little point from myself, this statement here by Kabam Mike that basically says they want to create more challenging things in the future. But I would stress that one of the other aspects is people need to find the game fun, and I really can't remember the last time I said to myself, I play a fun game. This is an incredibly skill-based game, and regardless of whatever your opinion is, the fact is you have to be on point. You have to be on point with the way you play. And yes, there's going to be easier sides of content based on really hardcore and strong champions. That's what happens in a lot of games, but the main factor is you've got to play well. Things like, as we know, your evades have got to be good, your intercepts have got to be good, you've got to use the right champions for the right things. And whilst Kabam are creating that type of game and the cadence and the meta for the game, there's also the aspect that games have to be fun, and sometimes some things have got to be a little bit more easier, and yes, sometimes have got to be a bit skilled. So like I said previously, it's a good balance you have to have between something being easy and something being hard. And even though Kabam have had a few issues, blips with the first uncanny danger room, which was quite fun, I managed to grind out what I could in the time frame, but I'll wait a little bit, another 7 days until it comes around again to do that. I'm going to now throw the opinion over to you, the audience. What do you think about uncanny, as well the whole danger rooms in general? I've put a poll that should be appearing above my head now, and then the results will be pinged up on Twitter or maybe in a future MCC News video. Let me know in the comments as well. What do you think? Has danger rooms been a good thing? Do you think that it's good for endgame players and not so good for players that are just starting off the game? but maybe focuses them into different things. So we now force people into a lane. Like, you have to be a beginner because you literally just started. And the same thing for endgame players, because they have all these types of champions in different types. It means that they can get through this content. And it's also the big focus on skill and being challenging. How do you allow this being a difficult thing? Should it be made easier? Should we have a good balance? Your thoughts in the comment section and answers in the poll. So thank you very much for watching this video all about Danger Rooms. I thought rather than putting this into the MCC News, I could do a little bit of an extended story with it and have a look at the discussion and involve you lovely people, lovely community in a poll on this one, because I'm interested to find feedback on this. But yes, thank you very much for watching. I've been RichTheMan. Make sure you like and subscribe for more Marvel Contest of Champions based content. And as always, I shall catch you on the flip side. Bye-bye for now.